here is the brand new DJI Action 2, a tiny 56-gram modular action camera designed for action, adventure and travel photography. In fact, the entire intro that you just watched was all filmed on the new DJI Action 2. The DJI Action 2 is different to other action cameras because of its modular design, making it a lot more customizable than other action cameras because of how it is constructed. Now you can use the Action 2 just with the camera. You've got up to 70 minutes of record time with the internal battery, but you've also got internal memory up to 22 gigs. But if you're wanting to expand this storage or expand the battery life, you can use that with either the power combo or the dual screen combo. Using the either power or dual screen combo, you can connect a micro SD card for pretty much unlimited record space depending on the size of SD card you're using. Now the Action 2 is waterproof up to 10 meters, but the dual screen combo as well as the power combo is not. So if you're planning on wanting to use this for water sports, you've got two options. You can either use just the Action 2 without the power or dual screen combo, or you can buy the optional waterproof case. So the DJI Action 2 can film in a variety of different resolutions, from 1080p power reserve, so it saves a little bit more battery life, as the battery life isn't great because of how small this camera is. You've also got 1080p, 2.7K and 4K resolution, but you also can film in two different aspect ratios. So in 1080p, you can film in both 16:9 and 4:3, and that's the same for 2.7K and 4K resolution. Now the reason you would want to do this is all to do with post cropping. So if you get the shot straight out the gate in 16:9, that's great, but with the actual aspect ratio of 4:3, it allows you to crop in post-production a little bit more without losing resolution, which is really, really important. So if you're planning on getting an absolute epic shot, but you're not quite sure about the field of view that this camera offers, then I would recommend filming in 4:3. And most of the shots I've filmed today is in 4:3 because you can actually crop a little bit more in post without losing the really important resolution. Now you've also got this ability in hyperlapse and time-lapse as well. Now with this camera as well, you've got hyperlapse and time-lapse built in. Now a hyperlapse is basically a time-lapse with movement. So if you're planning on attaching it to your dog, for example, like this shot here, or you're planning on attaching it to your car, and you can film at different speeds from 2 times all the way up to 30 times. And you've also got the same with time-lapse. So time-lapse is a hyperlapse without movement. So you're planning on having it in a static position. And these are great if you're planning on filming crowds or sunsets, for example. And you actually got the settings built directly into the camera, which I think is really good. So if you're new to photography and you don't quite know what you're shooting, then these actual settings allow to be quite customizable with exactly what you're after. But if you do know what you're doing, you have got custom mode built in as well, which allows you to dial in the exact frame rate you're after for either your time-lapse or hyperlapse. Now, inside the box, DJI do quite a few different accessories. You've got a ball joint mount adapter, you've also got a magnetic lanyard, and then you've got the universal GoPro adapter, which will let you attach it to any either universal or GoPro accessory. Now, I'm going to be using them in a variety of different shots to really show you what you can do with the DJI Action 2. Now there's quite a few unique shots that you can use with the ball joint sticky adapter. For instance, you can have it stick inside your car. Then you end up getting quite good shots of you getting things out the boot, which again is great for travel photography. Or maybe you are going on an absolute epic road trip. Well then you can go ahead and stick it on the inside of your dash, or maybe even on the windscreen to get an epic shot of inside your car without necessarily having a videographer, like you're almost on an episode of Top Gear. And if you want to stick it to the outside of your car, I probably wouldn't recommend the sticky plate because it probably isn't strong enough, but you can actually unscrew that and you'll notice there is a 1/4 inch thread, which means that you can stick it to more sturdy things, like for instance a suction cup mount, which means you can attach this to the outside of your car without the threat of it falling off, which means you can get epic shots of outside your car while still using the DJI Action 2. Now another accessory you've got inside the box is the universal GoPro mount adapter. Now this adapter, like all others, is just simply magnetics onto the DJI. Now it allows you to attach it to pretty much any GoPro or universal accessory, which means you can attach it to a chest mount, even a dog harness mount, or even a head strap, without necessarily having DJI's official products, which is really nice because it gives you a good plethora of different kind of accessories that you can use with the DJI Action 2. Now another really cool accessory is this, the magnetic lanyard. Now this is really good if you're after more of a point of view. So for instance, if you're in driving and you want a shot of you driving, or for instance, you're going down a ski slope, or if you're just simply going on holiday. Now all of the stuff that DJI are doing at the moment is magnetic, which means simply connect it up and you're pretty much good to go. Then when you're ready to take it off, there's no screws or bolts or anything like that. Just simply take it off like so, which I think is a really, really neat feature. And I actually really think this magnetic lanyard is probably the party piece of the DJI Action 2 because I think it's really good for travel photography. The DJI Action 2 can also film in ultra slow motion, up to 240 frames per second in 1080p. You can also film 120 frames per second in 4K, which is great if you're wanting to capture nice fast action in ultra slow motion. Now what I think is great about the DJI Action 2 is its image stabilization options. You have 5 in the new firmware update. You've got off, which offers no stabilization whatsoever, which as you can see is quite shaky footage. Then you've got steady, which offers a minimal amount of stabilization while still having that ultra wide angle point of view. Then you have got rock steady, which offers ultra image stabilization, which creates really smooth footage even when there's a lot of action happening within the shot. Then you've got 2 horizon balancing modes. You've got horizon balancing, which can balance the horizon up to 45 degrees. This is offered up to 4K resolution. Then you've got horizon steady, which doesn't matter which way the camera is pointing, it will always keep the horizon level, which I think is amazing. And this is offered within 1080p. So what do I think of the DJI Action 2? Well, I actually think it's a really interesting, quite unique design. I really like the modular design, although it does have its limitations. Obviously, the actual dual screen or power combo isn't waterproof. So this isn't great for water sports, maybe water skiing or swimming. But for almost everything else, I actually think this is definitely worth buying. The battery life isn't great, although the dual screen combo can offer a little bit more battery life, but I did find I was always running out of battery life, and it having internal storage is great, but I always wish it had more. It's great it having a micro SD card, but I wish it was connected into the actual camera itself instead of the dual screen combo. I did find I was always running out of memory, which was sometimes quite frustrating, but overall for most situations I think this camera is great. So who do I think this camera is designed for? Well, I think if you're a content creator like myself or doing YouTube, I think this is great for maybe behind the scenes footage because you can add it to yourself with the lanyard or even the sticky kind of mount that you can attach to almost everywhere. This is great if you're after a behind the scenes shot, or maybe you're a travel photographer traveling around the world, getting great shots. This camera is absolutely perfect for you. But if you're more of an action sport guy, maybe you're doing heavy snow skiing, water skiing or swimming, then I would probably suggest maybe some of the other action cameras on the market. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it, and obviously George, my photography assistant, was very happy with this camera, as you can see by these lovely shots here. So make sure to like, comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content just like this one. I've been James for Wex Photo Video, and I'll catch you guys next time.